What's up, guys? Dabu7 back at you. We got a lot going on, and it looks like, by all accounts, some things we talked about a decade ago pertaining to Jade Helm, they're in full swing operation. Jade Helm is live. Everything that it focused on, the whole border operation on states from California all the way down to Texas. It included Florida and other areas. And what were they doing? They were targeting going into areas where people live to get people. Now, we didn't have the whole immigration crisis on our hands back then the way that we do now. Now, you can hopefully see that Homeland strike teams going all across the place, coupled with the U.S. military being rolled out all across the border in that whole region. This is the operation. This is the massive operation that they drilled for. And they're doing just that. They're rounding people up. They're putting them in camps. Stuff that people said would be a conspiracy theory. But that's because they were looking at it from the angle that they were going to be rounding up Americans and sticking them in there, and they didn't have any justification behind that. But that the drilling was real. They did Jade Helm. It was real through and through. And they trained for this exact event all along the border for what's about to pop off full scale. The military's mounting up there right now. And they're now flying these recon flights all the way down to Cabo San Lucas and different areas. And they're preparing to strike. So everything that was drilled and talked about back with Jade Helm is in full-scale swing at this point. Again, what people missed back then is they were equating Americans to be rounded up in this whole thing and put into camps or whatnot. But the reality is they were not seeing what was to come. We were in the beginning stages of Obama tearing down the border back then at that point. You fast forward to now, the whole installation of the Biden regime was to accomplish all these things. And they did it. Okay? So now, on the back end, that is the excuse for strike teams to go out, right? And they're doing things. They're out there rounding people up. They're getting criminals. They're getting murderers. They're doing all that, right? When it comes to the military striking the cartels, I'm telling you, there's going to be major blowback. You've seen this at the beginning of the year. They showed this, what was to come. There's going to be more of it, no doubt. With the bombings, the car bombing, and all that. There's going to be more things like that. Now, they're lining up the strike inside of Mexico. They're going to be conducting military strikes on our neighboring country, into it, with Apaches, drones, everything you can think of. This is a military operation. And everything they trained for in Jade Helm. So, it's on right now. And I gotta say this. This all gives the perfect front for if bird flu or something crazy was to be launched, and it is 2025 when Bill Gates said the next one would launch. What would these strike teams be used for then? I think you already know the answer to that. Do you see where all this can go real quick? Turn of events? I hope you're paying attention.
Shalom. First and foremost, we give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. It was in this gospel broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a lesson through the Spirit. I remember the Jade Helm 15 was when it's back in 2015. It said it was dating from July 15, 2015 to September 15, 2015. And from what I can recall then, of course, they have the conspiracy theories page up there, which they throw that term out very loosely. when conspiracy, even from the mouth of their own people, just means when two people conspire to do something. That's all the conspiracy means. And con means with, conspiracy means with the spirit or when. So it's not something that like they try to write you off as a crazy person and you're making up theories in the back of your mind. But regardless of that, it seems that the sea theorists have been right all this time, man. Okay, so that was Dabu 7, basically going into the account on how they have military floating around in these different cities and doing particular drills. And I seen the brother that uploaded a video that they were spotting helicopters in parts of Texas. All right, but going back to J Helm 15, from what I recall from that, when they was doing these particular drills, that they were setting up what they call mock cities or replica cities, when they will go in and they will set up a replica city and they will learn how to take it or to siege it. And from the looks of it, it looks like they're getting ready to do something big, because you have several pandemics on the table. As I was doing some research on Whitney Webb, which she's an investigative journalist, and she was going into the account of hold on, let me pull it up here, of it says O'Neill's, which this guy Jim O'Neill or James O'Neill, which is basically Trump's public health secretary of the department HHS, which basically wants to approve of mRNA particular medicines or in food supplies. So they're basically hijacking the original FDA process of testing things, which they let anything get through. If you come with a certain amount of money, they'll fucking say dog shit is edible if you give them enough money. But basically they're trying to go around that to get these particular ordeals in people's supply for, whether it's in the food, the water, the air. They need to make this thing work. Okay? So this guy Trump ain't as straight up as he was making it seem. And then you got RFK on the other end of it, making it seem like he's with the MAHA, which is the Make America Healthy Again, which they're using that as a ploy to get this stuff out here, So they're talking about here, it says O'Neill's early foray in public health from Bird FLU panic to Project BioShield, which, I'll go into this at a later time, because actually this is quite interesting, and I didn't read everything yet. It's pretty long, but this chick Whitney Webb, she's on point, man. She's been spilling the beans, so I've been watching that, and I think from this point, I think I'm gonna kind of stick to that investigative journalism, because there's so many people out here, that goes into these things, and you can get scrambled in between what information you was getting. And so far, she seems to be on point with what she's bringing out, so I try to limit it. But anyway, J Helm 15, and then you have these particular protests in the city, in these cities, based on these migrants, or what Esau called illegal aliens. But regardless of it, man, things are getting ready to happen. So the military is already set up in place to go ahead with orders. So we've been telling you, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that they're going to declare martial law on the streets of America, man. But Jake, they're all excited because the upcoming Super Bowl. Jake is all into the bread and circus. They have the 2025 resolutions that they're going to get the bag. But regardless of it, the Lord is dimming a light on Babylon, man. All right. So how much more are we supposed to be in the spirit now than ever? All right. So it says USFA or AF spy plane runs a signet operation near Cabo as U.S. preps for potential cartel fight. All right, I saw a video yesterday of cartel testing out rockets and all this other shit. But I'm like, how does the cartel, a known gang, smuggle these particular high-powered weapons if they wasn't getting it from the CIA on the black market? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're just a typical gang, that form in Mexico and different parts of Central America, then how the hell are you getting access to these weapons if you're not being funded, right? All justification. But it says, after what may be the shortest trade war in history, Mexico and Canada have each committed 10,000 troops to their respective borders. And I went off. I said 30,000, but I thought it was 30,000. I must have misread it, but it was 10,000. So that's my bad on that. But it says here, these developments suggest the U.S. military may be gearing up for potential action against the out-of-control Mexican drug cartels, with the first step involving a collection of signals intelligence, which is SIGINT, through the surveillance flights over cartel-controlled territories in Mexico. And this is basically them declaring war on our people, because according to what Dabu was saying, he was making it seem like people were just saying they was going to throw Americans in concentration camps, and that is actually the plan. Okay, they're going to throw Americans in FEMA camps as well, because you heard what Trump said. He said, look, those are the violent criminals among us. We got to get them from among us. Okay, we have to get rid of these people, and we have to take them to places that they don't want to be to get them right. All right, which is those concentration camps. So now, through the Biden administration, bait and switch, allow these jakes to come up here, or these Israelites from the northern kingdom to come up here, just to suck them all into a vacuum, just to destroy them, man. Because it's really Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai getting you where he needs you to be, because it's really the Lord's judgment. As it tells us in the book of Hosea, Ephraim, it says that he will bring his children forth to the murderer. And a lot of you Latin tribes have come up here, man. All right, looking for better opportunity just to get judged by the Heavenly Father if you're not of the elect. But it says here, several open source intelligence X accounts have posted flight tracking data of U.S. Force RC-135 V/W Revet joint reconnaissance aircraft, indicating it may have conducted a signaling operation over the southern half of Baja, California, a region home to heavily armed Tijuana cartel and Sinaloa cartel members, man. So they're declaring war on the tribes, man, and they're using it under this gang edict. But it says, and this is just illustrations of it. It says American military RC-135V Revet joint surveillance plane has been taking a good look at cartel positions all over the western coast of Mexico today, including Sinaloa. All right. But it says here, the Rivet joint is USAF's premier sitting aircraft designed to intercept, identify, and analyze enemy communication and electronic signals. Operated primarily by the 55th Wing at Alford Air Force Base, Nebraska, and spy plane will be critical asset for the Trump administration and the Department of Defense for real-time intelligence collection, surveillance, and electronic warfare against cartels. It says the purpose of this flight is likely to be strategic planning and a threat assessment, all right? So what's so funny about it all is the fact that if they was planning these J-Helm 15 drills for this very moment, then that means that they anticipated this to happen. So that means they had a well-undergo play that they was following to do just this, to be justified on putting people in camps, man, and ultimately declaring martial law. All right? And martial law will be declared on the streets of America, because this will be considered a national emergency if things tend to get out of line. All right? So let's see what the scriptures say about this, man, because, hey, this can go which way. Okay, you got this guy Trump that's attending the 59th Super Bowl at the at Caesar's Palace, if I'm not mistaken, or Caesar's Arena or some shit out there in New Orleans against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Eagles, which is supposed to be one of the biggest Super Bowls in history, as Kansas City Chiefs are going for a three-peat. Anything can go down, man. You have episodes from The Simpsons, which a lot of those things that you see online with The Simpsons, a lot of those are AI generated, and some of it you got to take with a grain of salt, because The Simpsons has been putting shit in cartoons over a course of time since the mid-90s, early 90s. So those things that you see in those AI thing of The Simpsons may not be of one particular episode, but they can be events that's spaced out over a course of time. But a lot of that shit is AI. But nonetheless, The Simpsons do put things into their cartoons because it's a cryptic message. Okay, it's basically called predictive programming. All right, and they predicted Trump to be assassinated, which we don't know how that's going to turn out. But I mean, nothing is off the table at this point. All right, because he's talking about, going to war with Iran and making them pay if they try to assassinate him. So he's speaking cryptic vibes, So that would be another way to declare martial law on the streets of America, because if Trump miraculously dies or fakes an assassination attempt, then you better believe that they will burn this goddamn country down overnight. These proud MAGA boys and these right-wing extremists, they will burn this place down, man, and they will target you jakes. Okay, and don't be surprised that, let's just say if he does get assassinated, they may make it seem like a so-called black man did it, just so they can be justified on targeting jakes, man, which will plunge us immediately into Jacob's trouble. So that is not off the table either. Not saying that will happen, but, anything is possible with this devil. All right, so this is the book of Ezekiel 23 and 23. It says, the Babylonians and all the Chaldeans, Pico and Shor and Koah, and all the Assyrians with them, all of them desirable young men, captains and rulers, great lords, and renowned, all of them riding upon horses. And they should come against thee with chariots and wagons and wheels, and with an assembly of people which shall set against thee buckler and shield and helmet round about. And I will set judgment before them, and they should judge thee according to their judgments. Now, I like to say this is the UN scripture because it goes into these different nations, all right? And these particular nations that harbor the UN, which we know that UN troops are over here, okay? And then believe it or not, a lot of these military experiments and drills can be conducted by foreign troops just disguised as American troops, because the American military is stretched thin, and a lot of them are already sent abroad, man. Okay, believe it or not, a lot of the military of America's military is not here in America. Okay, you got a lot of people that was sent overseas, and Trump even stated that when he met with B.B. Mikowski, he was basically stating that it's not off the table to send troops down there to Gaza, American troops down to Israel. So it's not off the table, man. All right, but it says here, and it says, and they should come against you with chariots and wagons and wheels, and this is their military vehicles, their equipment. Okay, as they storm these cities and they go in looking for who they need to look for, they will target a lot of the tribes, man, if not the tribes. So you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are in grave danger, man. Okay, all our people are, and I say you because you're not under the covering of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, but instead you vote on your own gods and your own your own religion, so to speak. So the Lord is going to set his judgments against you. Okay, and they will come into these neighborhoods. They will cut off these neighborhoods. There will be blackouts. There will be grid outages. Okay, there will be all types of weird shit happening here. So they can be justified on putting you in concentration camps, man. Okay, it was a guy by the name of David. I think his name is David Goldberg or David something. And back in 2019, he left a cryptic message titled Project Zypher. Basically, they want to round up people of color, my so-called minorities, and anybody that speaks against the New World Order, and they want to detain them in these concentration camps, man. And that's been the talk lately. FEMA camps. Trump building up detention centers along the border wall because allegedly the countries of these so-called illegal aliens don't want to accept them back. So basically, he got 30,000 beds open at Guantanamo or Guantanamo Bay to house the so-called most violent criminals there. When in fact, you Edomites need to be there because you're the most violent on the planet Earth. Okay, the scriptures refer to you as the bloody man, the deceitful man, the violent man, okay, the murderer. That's you. And if Jake is acting out in such manners because, hey, they come up under you, man, in your system. All right? And it says, and it shall come against thee with chariots and wagons and wheels, and with the assembly of people which shall set against thee buckler, shield, and helmet round about. And I will set judgment before them, and they shall judge thee according to their judgments. And I will set my jealousy against thee, and they shall deal furiously with thee, and they shall take away thy nose and thy ears, and the remnant shall fall by the sword, and they shall take thy sons and thy daughters, and thy residue shall be devoured by fire. It says, they shall also strip thee out of thy clothes, and take away thy fair jewels, and thus will I make thy lewdness to cease before thee, and thy whoredom brought to the land of Egypt, so that thou shalt not lift up thy eyes upon them and remember Egypt anymore, man. So you're going to learn, all right, that the idols of Egypt, which we in modern Egypt, okay, America, Babylon the Great, is all those empires wrapped up into one. It's the Syrian Empire, it's Nineveh, which was part of the Assyrians, okay, the Babylonians, Egypt, okay, Rome, Greece. This is all those kingdoms wrapped up into one, okay, which adds into the diversity of this fourth beast, man, okay. So it says here, going back, it says, what's important to note that China's reverse opium wars on America, think of it as a hybrid warfare, is coming to a abrupt end under Trump. But the drug death catastrophe of 100,000 Americans per year was unacceptable and somehow allowed to happen by the Biden-Harris regime and rogue Democrats who push open southern borders. But dismantling Mexican drug cartels could be a very messy operation, which why the Trump administration fortified the border with the military. It says the challenge, however, is that if U.S. Special Forces operate to kill cartel leaders, retaliatory attacks by cartel members could occur on Mexican beach breach resorts or worse on the streets of U.S. cities, right? So basically what happens is they feel like if they enact or kill leaders, they feel like that will activate a lot of cell or cartel agents within America, and that would be in war. Okay, like I said, all justifiable means to declare war on the tribes, man, and they're using this cartel shit, which I don't know how they able to use that, but everybody knows that the cartel is set up by the fucking CIA, man. They fund them. I mean, if you can't see that, then I mean, we don't know. But regardless of it, we in those times. All right, let's go to Luke 21 and I end it. This wasn't meant to be a long lesson, but this is where we at. So this is the book of Luke 21, and I'm gonna start at verses 20. It says, and when you should see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Okay, it says the armies, and right now we're seeing the military build up. Okay, it says, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. It says, for these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there should be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And it's talking about the Israelites, man. And it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem should be trodden down of the Gentiles, and the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And we're in that time now. All right, because our land has been overrun with Gentiles. You Hamites, you Edomites, and ultimately you Ishmaelites. And it says, and there should be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, and the seas and waves roaring, and men's hearts failing them for fear, and looking for after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven should be shaken. And this is why you have a lot of this creator content coming out about people putting up videos and conspiracy videos, and they're gonna do this and this and that, because men's heart, they're getting afraid, and they're trying to predict the next major event. But hey, Yahweh Shem Shai is moving, man. So with that, all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Shem Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.